Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode or broadcast, if you will, of Inspire by Kara. I am Sue A. Webley. I'm your host. I am the founder of Kara Solutions LLC, which provides administrative business and consulting services to small business owners, entrepreneurs, and faith-based and community-based organizations. And Inspire is a weekly broadcast that was created to spotlight BIPOC entrepreneurs, influencers, and creatives who are working to create lasting change in their communities and in the world. So, right now, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on LinkedIn. And I want to give you guys the opportunity to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Listen, we don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Kara Solutions. We don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. And so we invite you to connect with us. Okay, so we are at Kara Solutions LLC on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. We're at Kara Solutions on Twitter. And as always, you can head over to our website at www.kara-solutions.com. Don't forget the hyphen in the middle to find out all about Kara Solutions and all about Inspire and all about me, if you're so inclined to find out who Sue is. We're also on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And so if you want to listen later, you want to take it with you, you can listen on any one of those platforms. They're going to be more. We have some news coming up in the next month or so about other platforms that we'll be joining that I'm really excited about. But for right now, you can find us on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And you can look for us on Inspire by Kara on all of those platforms. As always, I want to remind you guys, you asked for it. It's here. Inspire Swag. It's here. It's live on the Kara Solutions site. And I am wearing some Inspire Swag today. All right. It always seems impossible until it's done. This is one of my favorite quotes by Nelson Mandela. And so I put it on a shirt. So I want to thank, so I invite you to go ahead and purchase a shirt yourself. I want to see that you're supporting. So if you purchase something and you're rocking it, just post a picture on social media for me and with the hashtag Inspire. With the hashtag Inspire, let me know that you're rocking our gear. And so again, I want to thank Sky Michelle's Teas and Things for hosting Kara Swag from the inception of Kara Solutions. And so they're the ones. She's the kid boss. She's 9 years old. She just turned 9. And so she is the one that makes all of my stuff. Okay. So I want you to head on over to her website. It's skymichelle.com. Skymichelle.com. And I really should have had an overlay or something. Let me do that. See, this is a wonderful thing about when you're running your own show. You can pause and you can do things like this. All right. So let me get this up for you. Because listen, we are all about supporting BIPOC-owned businesses, specifically, why I can't speak this morning, Black-owned businesses. Here is Sky Michelle. She has a back-to-school collection happening right now. She just turned 9. I am so proud. She calls me her Pastor Sue. And there's a funny story, if you know anything about Sky and I, every time we see each other, we must take a selfie. She has, we have to take a selfie together. And so if we are at a conference, she would let everybody else know that I'm her Pastor Sue. So, I often tell them, you have to share, Sky. You got to share me. You can't hoard me all to yourself. But I do want you to head on over to her website. Again, she's having a back to school collection right now. And so if your kids are going back to school, this is just a sampling of what she has on her website. She has so many other collections, but we want to raise up her back to school collection. So again, that's at skymichelle.com. And you can follow Sky at I am Sky Michelle on Facebook and on Instagram. So I see all of you coming in. As always, we have some news. We got some news. So let's get into some of our news this morning. So first up, and this is, oh God. Y'all know how I feel about youth and young adults, and particularly those who exist on the margins and beyond. And so Chad Sanford is a transgender teenager in South Florida who was the victim, 14 years old, the victim of a second brutal anti-LGBTQ attack. And so one of the things, and I don't know if any of you have seen this video going around, but first of all, I just couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. The other thing that came up for me is that adults were sharing this video. Adults were sharing this video and making jokes about a child being beat. I don't care what your theology is or how you feel about LGBTQ plus people, but this is a child that was being beaten, and you're an adult making fun of a child. And how there's nothing Christ-like about that. There's nothing loving about that. There's nothing good about that. All right. And so I want to get your thoughts. Those of you who are watching, tell me your thoughts about this. Chad, if you ever hear this, someone knows you, Chad, I want to talk to you, Chad. I want to talk to you. I want to hold space for you. I want to talk to you and your family. And just let you know that you are a wonderful creation of the divine, right? And because you are a wonderful creation of the divine, that you are inherently good. God called you good, okay? And I don't care what anybody says, and I'm really emotional about stuff like this, because again, it's a child, 14 years old, and so yeah, I'm trying not to dwell on it too much. But I'm just so upset about it, particularly for those adults who are sharing it, who are not seeing this child, this 14-year-old, as human, who are letting their embedded theology kind of govern how they treat not only LGBTQ individuals as a whole, but how they treat a child. So I would love to hear some of your thoughts on this story. And speaking of which, so we also want to lift up 3 individuals out here in Chicago who were run over. They were outside of a well-known Black gay bar out here in Chicago, and three young men, three young men, 24, 25, not even 30 yet, still with their whole lives ahead of them, were killed because whoever this person was decided that he would run them over. Okay. Again, I don't care what your theology is about it, right? This is not Christ-like. This is not good. This is not, yeah. So we honor them today because and we pray for their families. So in some lighter news, a little bit lighter news, Solange Knowles has become the first Black woman to compose music for the New York City Ballet. All right. And so I didn't realize she was so young. She's 36, right? And she's composing music for the New York City Ballet's Hall Fashion Gala. And again, it's making her the first Black woman to have composed a score for a production. And I wish we didn't have so many of these firsts. We're in 2022, y'all. Right? Why is she the first? Well, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to celebrate her. Congratulations, Solange, on this accomplishment. And also, again, in some lighter news, we have 16-year-old Sophie Arike Liu, who is a senior from Stewart High School. She won this year's Doodle for Google contest. And it's an annual competition for K-12 students to create their own versions of the Google logo. And so she will receive a $30,000 scholarship. And I don't know if you guys looked at Google this past Tuesday morning. Her doodle was there in place of Google's logo. And one of the reasons why I chose this particular story, not only is she part of the BIPOC community, but I chose it because of the message that it brings. The theme for the Doodle for Google was I care for myself. That was the theme. And so what you're looking at right now is a picture of her and her mother, of Sophie and her mother. And she says, I decided to show a different aspect of I care for myself. She said, I care for myself by letting other people care for me. I care for myself by letting other people care for me, right? It's just amazing to know you still have people supporting you and you don't need to try to do everything on your own. Now, I appreciate the fact that we can get a word from anywhere, right? So that's the I know that word spoke to me and I want to offer it to you. Care for yourself by allowing other people to help you, right? You were not created to do everything by yourself, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. And I want you to practice wisdom and discernment to when you need help. It is okay to ask for help. It's not a weakness. We were created to be in relationship with each other. And so inherently we were created to work with each other. Ask for help. It's okay. I don't know who I'm speaking to, right? But it's okay to ask for help. Let the people that want to help you, let the people that love you, let the people that support you, let the people that want to help you help you. That's my good morning, Saturday morning inspiring word for you today. All right. So that was our news. Let me tell me how you feel about our news items for today. I'm going to ask that you share. So if you're watching with us, if you're joining us, please share. Please share. Hi, Sean. Yeah. If you're watching and joining us, I want you to share our broadcast this morning with your friends and with your family. Tell them we are getting ready to have a conversation with Trenelle Doyle. I am so excited that she said yes. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit to get a response back. And I'm just so excited that she said yes and that she is joining us. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Trenelle before I bring her on to join us today. So Trenelle Doyle is the founder and the CEO of Go Girl Ride. And Go Girl Ride is a person-centered safety authority committed to creating a lane in the rideshare industry that centers on identity as its core value. I love it. With more than 15 years of service and operations experience, Trenelle is not only an advocate, but a champion for transportation justice that is radical in its effort. Listen, I'm all about radical, right? Radical in its effort to meet people where they are. A few of her accolades include being one of the 2022 COMTO women who moved the nation and the 2020 American Express 100 for 100 Founders for Change. And I saw that video that when American Express gave you the news and you were so excited. So we're so grateful that you have joined us this morning. And so let's get ready. Let's prepare to meet Trenelle. Hey, Trenelle.
Hi, Sue. How are you? Good morning.
I am well. How are you this morning?
I am alive and well. Happy to
Amen.
be in the land of the living, as they say.
Yes. Listen, any day in the land of the living is a good day, even though life hits us hard sometimes, and
It
we might be
does.
struggling and challenged in certain areas. The fact that we are in the land of the living means that that's another opportunity for change. So
It does. I'm loving this already because I get to be my real churchy self.
yes.
Some of these interviews, I'm like, hello, how are you? I'm like,
I want
oh
you.
no, praise the Lord, saints.
I definitely want you to be yourself, and
Absolutely.
and that's the same for anyone that kind of hangs out with me on Inspire. It's important that we see the real you. It's that's where the relativity comes in at. If that's
Absolutely, it is.
so, yeah. So we definitely want to see the real you. And yes. All right. Listen, if you're joining us, I forgot to ask this question before Trenelle came on and joined us, but I'm going to ask her while she's here because I'm going to ask her too. What are you sipping on? What you sipping on this morning?
I got some water over there. It is bright and early. I am on the West Coast, so it is 7:22 right now. I didn't have time to go get my tea, so I woke up. I said, "Well, it's gonna be water, which is good enough for me."
Yeah, water is indeed good. You know, I got my cup of coffee. If you know me, you know I got coffee in my cup. I got coffee in my cup. So let me take a sip.
Sip, sip.
So wherever you are, I keep bumping into my microphone.
It's
Wherever
okay.
you are, yes, okay. Hazelnut coffee, hazelnut coffee. Yes. Listen, whatever you're sipping on, whether it's water, OJ, apple juice, a smoothie, whatever you're sipping on, let us know. Let us know if it happens to be a little later and you happen to be sipping on something a little stronger. That's okay too. That's okay. Ain't no judgment here. Whatever you're sipping on, I want to know about it. But again, Trenelle, thank you so much for joining us today. And when I was looking for kind of seeking out who I wanted to be on Inspire, it was really important to me that the individuals were indeed inspiring. And when I came across Go Girl Ride, I'm like, yes, I have to get her. I have to have her on. But we want to know all about you. So can you tell us who is Trenelle and how would you describe yourself?
Yes. Well, again, thank you so much, Sue, for inviting me to be on. And I love your platform, by the way. I love what you're doing. And so, good morning and good afternoon. Or if you're watching somewhere else in the world, hey, whatever time of day it is for you. I am Trenelle. I am, oh boy. I am sister, daughter, friend, auntie extraordinaire. I take being an auntie very seriously. But yeah, I'm 37. I live here in the Pacific Northwest in the Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, or like border cities area. I'm from Long Beach, California initially. My dad was in the military growing up, so I had the I guess privilege of being able to live all over the country and experience like a variety of cultures and everything.
Mhm.
But my family, my parents, they really love the Pacific Northwest. So that is where I am for the time being.
Mhm.
I think that's going to change soon. But yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businesswoman.
Mhm.
I'm a creative first, which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I've had my hand in a lot of different areas. And for about another month, I am also an HR director at a
Okay.
nonprofit that provides permanent housing to houseless folks. And so
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
feel like I do a lot, but
Yeah.
my baby, my pride and joy, is Go Girl Ride, and so that is where who I am the founder and CEO of. I was an Uber driver for years,
Mhm.
and I saw a need for a safer option of getting from where you got to go, and so
Right.
I, would talk about it all the time, or actually, a lot of people, women specifically, would get into my car. Oh my God, your car's so clean. But
Right.
then they would be like, "You are a woman. I'm so excited," and they would just tell me like it's like they would just breathe a sigh of relief, and then they would share their stories with me.
Right.
And they like mostly were not good.
Mhm.
Just from ranging from, just like the awkward car rides to if I'm picking up like sex workers, they
Right.
would tell me stories about people being just like weird, the drivers being strange and or like even more terrible tragic stories. And so I got tired of hearing about that.
Yeah.
And then as a driver myself, as a Black woman, especially in a very predominantly white, one of the whitest cities, Portland, Oregon,
Mm.
in the US, I just, had my own experiences just of not feeling safe. But as I mentioned, being an HR professional and also just coming from customer service is like my foundation. I always had these ideas about, why are they doing these things this way, or like not following up with folks. And so I would tell people, and they'd be like, I would pay good money for a ride share that was like centered on safety if I could have this experience that they had with me like every single time. And so
Mhm.
I was like, I wish that existed. And then one of my friends, Lindsay Murphy, she was like, no, you should do this. Like, and I was like, me? She was like, yes, you. And so I was like, well, what would that even look like? And so I would call it Go Girl, because that sounds like me, like, you go girl, like
Yes.
Martin. um, but the name Go Girl cost like $300,000, the domain at the time, like
Wow.
5 years ago. And I was like, oh, and she was like, no, no, no. Let's see what we can do. And so she actually helped me come up with the name Go Girl Ride. And I bought the domain and I created a social media page. And
Mhm.
I shared some, like, just start talking and sharing my experience and what I wanted to do at the time. And I had no clue, no idea how
Wow.
things were just going to take off. It's like
Yeah.
I got the opportunity just to start speaking around the city to networks of women and femmes, and just sharing, what was in just the concept.
Mhm.
And things have just kind of taken off. It's been a long time coming. People have no idea how much work goes into things. I promise
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we're currently in app development, and yeah, the hope is sometime this fall to actually be on the road. Portland is our first city that we're going to launch in, but at this point we have national signups, and so I'm so
Wow.
excited. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Listen, I'm excited to know you. I'm excited to know you. So Go Girl Ride. And I know you mentioned some of this while you were talking just now. Is the first car and rideshare service catering to women, femmes and non-binary folk.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit more about why you felt it was necessary to make that distinction for your rideshare company?
Absolutely. So, and I will say there are or have been ride shares that were focused on providing transportation for women. It's just a very challenging, hard lane to be in, because it's like really, I mean, there's, when you think of rideshare, the first you think of is like Uber, and then you think about Lyft. There are other ride shares that have launched, but were not able to scale, and so they didn't
Mm.
succeed. And there is also one, there's a couple, but I think that we are unique in that, yes, the focus, it's inclusive, so it is for everyone.
Yes.
We will not discriminate because we don't want to get sued. However, I think that people just, I'll speak as a woman, and just for my friends who are
Mhm.
non-binary, people have no idea, businesses, like the things that we actually go through, like they're not mindful. And so, for me, it's like, as a driver, sometimes a guy would get into my car, and instead of like sitting in the back seat, they would sit right next to me.
Ooh.
And or if it's like a car full of men, right, like they would all just be in there. And it could be something as simple as like them talking, but like touching me or trying to touch me, or
Wow.
we black, so the
Right, right.
hair. And that could be anyone. So it was just like things like that, or just like making inappropriate comments
Hmm.
about just me, my body, or just a variety of things, just feeling really uncomfortable. Too. So it's something like that, to just, I feel like, and this will go, I think more will probably go into that approach, but not being mindful of the things that our experiences and the things that we encounter, and not being aware of how that like makes, how uncomfortable that could make a person feel.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, I don't get the same. I just start paying attention to, I wasn't really getting complaints. I wasn't hearing stories from like cisgendered men, when they would get into my car, that it was really coming from, it was coming from women and
Right.
femmes
Right.
mostly. And so I was like, okay, well, what is it that we're looking for in like, to what would it take to make us feel safe, to
Hmm.
make women feel safe? And so, they would just start sharing like, this is what we're looking for, a quiet ride, if
Right.
that's what is needed. I want to feel safe. I want to feel protected. I want to feel like I can just let my guard down,
Hmm.
but like
Hmm.
know and have assurances that like my life isn't gonna be in danger. And then also, um, I mean, I feel like it's never ending. But a few years ago, I just started hearing so many stories about trafficking, like in
Mm.
rideshare being like a primary source of how sex trafficking and human trafficking was taking place. Women either being kidnapped,
Yes.
just like a variety of things. And so I'm like, what safety precautions can these companies put into place, but not be, I want to be proactive, but not like reactive. So
Yes.
started doing the research on that to see what is it that we can do to, that way when you get into your GG, that's what we call the car,
Hmm.
like when we
Uh-huh.
pick you up, when you get into your GG, what is it going to take for you to feel like you don't have to have your guard up? And I think that's what women, femmes, non-binary folks, I think that's what people are looking for, like in safety and transportation and in rideshare.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for joining us. We do have a question from the audience. And
Sure.
so Kim asks, have you received pushback or welcome from other ride shares like Lyft or Uber?
I suspect that the people know who Trenelle is, who I am, and who and what we're doing. I do. I have some. Yeah, I think folks. I think they know exactly who we are, and I have gotten feedback from folks either at some of those companies. I don't want to put nobody on blast.
Right.
Or who have left, and they're like, we really love this idea. If you need any support or any help with anything, please reach out and let us know.
Right.
So um I think once we launch, we'll probably really see just what people know about us. But I have my suspicions that um the people know that we're coming for sure.
Yes. Good, good. It's good that they know. It's good that they
Oh
know.
yeah, period.
So, a part of the vision for Go Girl Ride is providing trauma informed care. And
Yes.
so, could you explain to our listeners, for those who may not know, what trauma informed care is, and how does Go Girl Ride lean into that vision?
Absolutely. So to me, trauma informed, and I feel like it's such a hot word that people say and companies say, and I'm like, but do you know?
Mhm.
Um, to me, it is, how is the way that I engage with a person, is it being mindful of them and what they could be going through, and I being intentional with everything, because you don't know what a person is going through. So I don't want my actions, my words, my company. I
Mhm.
want to ensure that we are not bringing trauma to you.
Yeah.
And no trauma also, it's challenging because no trauma is the same. And what might not be traumatic to me might be very traumatic to someone else and
Yeah.
trigger something. You
Yeah.
just don't know what a person is experiencing and what they're going through. And so it's being intentional, it's being really intentional with everything that you do. But there's the thing where you say it's the impact over the intention. And so
Mhm.
for us, it's making sure that our policies that we put in place, the way that we engage, the way that we show up, it is not putting someone into a traumatic space that will bring harm to them. To
Yeah.
me, that's what trauma informed really is. And
Mhm.
so even as we are, going through like app development and setting up our policies, and just going into the next phase of this long process,
Right.
um, it is constantly checking ourselves, and it's trying to stay on the pulse to make sure that these things are being truly mindful of just, I would say, the human experience, and making
Yes.
sure that instead of centering ourselves, we're centering other people.
Yes. Yes. And that is one of the ways that you meet people where they are.
Oh yes, come on. And that's our slogan. We meet
Yes.
you where you are.
Hmm.
When we were, 2 years ago, coming up with like, what is our, what who are we, coming up with our vision and coming up with our mission, and we were just in a work session, and it came together. We meet you where you are. And what does that actually means? It means that we see you,
Yeah.
um and you don't have to change who you are, because there is nothing wrong with you. We
Yeah.
meet you where you are means that we are coming to you, and you get to be exactly who you are in that moment.
Yeah.
So when you get into your GG, for instance, if you are, so sometimes you get into to your Uber or to your Lyft or taxi, and they just talkative, and it's
Yeah.
like, yo, read the room.
Right.
I, hello. You might be going to, something sad, or you might be trying
Right.
to focus.
Right.
You never know, or it might be something really serious, or people might also be in a good mood. There's nothing like being in a great mood, and then somebody's energy is just bringing you down.
Right.
We meet you where you are means like we are coming to you. And once you get into your GG, when you are in this space, this is actually this is a truly safe space for you to be able
Mhm.
to be yourself, but have the confidences and assurances that, like, we have taken all of the safety precautions into place so that you could just be your authentic self. And I mean that. So that's what we meet you where you are
Yeah.
means to us and to
Yeah,
me.
that is so wonderful. Oh goodness, I just feel so good. That's learning all about Go Ride, learning about you and the organization, and of course we want to support in all the ways that we can. So thank you so much for sharing. So in a previous interview, because I stalk news stories and social
Do
media
the work, do
pages.
the work. Yes, Sue.
So in a previous interview, you talked about how difficult it has been to raise capital, right?
Yes.
Particularly as a Black woman entrepreneur. Why do you believe that this difficulty exists, and how can lenders become more equitable?
Absolutely. Um, I think, without going down the rabbit into the too deep into the rabbit. Well, no, we could
Mhm.
go there
Yeah, we
actually.
go there. Go
I,
ahead.
I think the system is set up for us to not only have like level playing field, but to like not get ahead.
Right.
I think it's white supremacy. I think that's white supremacy culture. Because there are folks who want to remain. I think white men want to remain in power, and they're. I
Yeah.
mean, we won't go there, just with the overturning of Roe v. Wade and all of
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it all is like, in my opinion, it's all systematic, and I think it's all put in place to keep us down.
Yeah.
That's like on the real, like, to me, that's like the root of it.
Yes.
Um, but I think there's a lot of obstacles and a lot of challenges. I think financial literacy is not really taught to, I'll say BIPOC spaces, but Black
Right.
spaces in particular. I
Yes.
can Black, so that's my experience that I'm gonna speak from.
Yep.
I feel like actually it's the opposite. They want us to stay, in financial bondage. I'll say it like that. So
Yeah.
I think that is a challenge if folks don't know from jump, like when they're, in coming up in school, like in primary school, high school, college, all of those things. I think there are the systems, financial systems are put in place to like keep us in debt. I think
Yes.
that's one thing. I also think, you know, yeah, I think it's also life, just like the things that we encounter, the things that get in our way, to like keep us from accessing the resources that are even available.
Yeah.
I think there's that. And then I also think there are actual like racist policies set up. I mean, we see it in housing, for instance, like
Yes.
redlining and just
Mm-hmm.
in lending and all of those
Yep.
things. There's been so many case studies where um the same person, like a Black person with the same credentials and all of the things, they will go to the bank and they'll apply for a loan. They'll get denied because they checked off Black, African
Right.
American.
Right.
But then a white person will turn around and do the same thing, and they won't just get what they asked for, but they'll get more. But
Mm-hmm.
I know the real source, the
Come
Lord.
on.
And my God is really good. And I think, I'm just really grateful just for like coming into the know, and just for the opportunities and for the resources, like at this point, like coming to us. And I think the first um step to that was actually speaking out and saying, this is what we're working on, this is what we need,
Right.
and getting out of my own way to get to it, and
Beautiful.
figuring that out. It is hard. This is I think this is actively working on Go Go Ride. This is year 3, but
Mm.
really at this point, I mean, it's weird. I'm like 5 years deep. Like we're really,
Beautiful.
getting it out of the mud and finally making some way, like making some space. Like I can see it. I'm like, okay, we can actually launch this year.
Yeah.
It's hard though. Funding, it is really challenging. Also, because it also depends on your market. And so rideshare, I mean, I know, the big two are everywhere, but it is actually a relatively new
Yes.
field, to be
Mm-hmm.
quite honest with you. And so it's really etching out the space. And so even, now I'm sending my pitch deck out to everyone. And if y'all want my pitch deck, let me know. We can send it.
Yes. Yes.
Please
Please
send
send
it
it.
over if you're interested in investing. But when we send it out, the feedback also, it's like, yeah, this is still a new field, or Uber, Lyft, they already have the game on lock, or folks just are not interested in it at that, time, but they're like, this
Right.
is great, we believe in it. We believe in what you're doing, keep going. So like, it's like, you just there's also that side of it. And then the other side that sometimes makes funding challenging, because it's not just the funding, but it's like securing insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole beast. I mean, it took years to even get an insurance quote. It's like all of the things
Wow.
that you
Wow.
have to go through, because it is still like a newer field. And then when you're talking about transportation and then rideshare, I mean, it's, our contracted drivers using their own vehicles, right? And
Right.
so it's just like so many different things that go into that pot that
Mm-hmm.
make it challenging. But, we're figuring it out, and I'm excited about it. And once I do completely figure it out and we get launched and get on the road, I look forward to being able to share, like, look, y'all, this is what we went through. Here,
Yes.
let me put you on game so that you don't have to go through all of these hurdles. Like we went through these hurdles, so you don't have to do that.
Right.
Because it is very challenging, but I'm also excited about it, because like I just know, it's not about me.
Right.
There's so many people, there's so much that this is going to provide for like so many people, and I'm excited about it. So even when it does get challenging, just like funding is really hard, but I think that's what keeps me going, is knowing like, no, this is going to really bring change, because it's needed. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
here talking to you.
Yes.
We want it, we need it.
Yes, definitely. And I'm so glad that you're here talking to me. We're going to take a quick break for you to get a sip of water, and for those watching to get their own sip of water as well. And then we'll be right back with to have a little bit more conversation with you, Trenelle.
Yes.
So we're
Talk
so
to
grateful
y'all
that you joined us.
shortly.
Yes.
If I fall behind on one more thing today, I'm going to call it quits.
Is your workload leaving you frustrated? Is overwhelm hindering your performance? Do you have too many to-dos on your to-do list? Call Kara. Just one phone call with a member of our team will have you feeling less pressured and more productive in no time. Our job is to make your job easier. Focus on your passion. Let Kara handle the rest. All right, y'all. Thank you. Those of you who are watching, we want to remind you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are at Kara Solutions LLC on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. We are at Kara Solutions on Twitter. And as always, you can head over to our website at www.kara Solutions.com to find out all about Cara Solutions, all about Inspire, and all about me, if you are so inclined. We do ask that if you have joined us, even though we're nearing to the end, I still want you to share this broadcast because Trenelle is dropping some jewels today, and so we want everyone to hear it. Again, if you want to listen later, we are on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and on Spotify. We will have more platforms coming up soon, but for right now, we are on these three, and we want you to follow us as well on these three platforms. You can find us at Inspired by Cara on all of those platforms. Again, want to invite you to purchase some Cara swag. If you notice, and we'll show it again. I'm rocking Cara swag this morning. It always seems impossible until it's done. This is my favorite quote by Nelson Mandela. So I made a design, and now it's on the shirt. So I want to thank Sky, Michelle, Tees and Things for hosting Cara Inspiration and now Cara Motivation and now Inspire Swag on their website. And so we want to shout out Sky Michelle. She just turned 9. She is the kid boss. She has a back to school collection. So if you have a child going back to school and you want to get them a t-shirt, head over to Sky Michelle's website, www.skymichelle.com, or you can follow Sky on Facebook and on Instagram at I am Sky Michelle. We are all about supporting BIPOC, but particularly Black-owned businesses here on Aspire. Also, want to keep abreast that next week, I'm so excited about our guest next week. We're going to have award-winning Ty Allen Jackson, who is the founder of Big Head Books, and he's going to come and hang out with us and talk all about his work with literacy and Big Head Books and all of the things that he's doing. I'm so excited that he said yes to joining us next week. So we are going to get back into our conversation with Trenelle.
You're going places. There are people to meet and places to see, jobs to hustle and appointments to keep. Life's a trip, and you're making it happen one destination at a time. You deserve a joyful, safe journey, supported by people who get you, who see you, who appreciate you for all your comings and goings, your heres and your theres. Go Grow Ride is a curated rideshare service designed for all and especially for you. We put the safety and comfort of our diverse community first. Because in a world that is often uncertain, you deserve to go your own fabulous way. Our carefully vetted drivers are here to get you where you need to go. And all of our cars are outfitted with safety accessories that make for a smooth, safe ride. This is Go Girl Ride. We meet you where you are.
Welcome back, Trenelle.
Hey, it's good to be back. I got my water. I'm hydrated.
Yes. Listen, I need one of those sweatshirts, right? I need something to go.
Say less. Say less. Say less. Because I was looking. I was like, I got to get some merchant support as well. So absolutely.
Yes. Listen, I was sure rock it here on Inspire and send people over to your website to get it. So yeah, need to represent. They are loving that ad.
Thank you so much. It was such a blessing. It's like what I was saying when I created the social media page and just started sharing a fantastic just like, I guess, marketing ad guru. Her name is Shane. Their name is Shayna. They reached out to me in Portland, and just like a bunch of professionals just came together, and they were like, we want to help you put this first commercial together. And at like, even from where we shot it to all of the things, they like just poured all of their love and resources into it. And then my friends and people was like, yeah, we'll be in it. And it was good. Like, God is really good. And just like the faithfulness and the favor, that's just, it's fantastic. So yeah, I love whenever I see that commercial, because I'm like, oh, that's just a reminder of just God's faithfulness to me.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love it. So, as entrepreneurs, we do have times where we are challenged with imposter syndrome. We're challenged with self-doubt and even doubt from other people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how do you, Trenelle, deal with that, and how do you persevere through the tough times?
Yeah. I mean, first is God. And if I that's real. It's challenging
Hmm.
because, this is big, and it's gonna be big. I don't even They say eyes haven't seen.
Ears haven't
Ears
heard.
haven't heard. Okay, come
Yes.
on. But it's true. Like I still don't think I have a full grasp of just how actually big it's going to be,
Hmm.
and that gets really overwhelming. So I mentioned, or you mentioned, that I was a recipient of an award on the Hill in DC. And I mean, when they reached out to me, first of all, I was like, really? Like, I didn't understand it, because I looked at the other recipients, like the mayor of DC, the
Mm.
executive director of NASA, and just like a bunch of phenomenal like women and femmes doing amazing things. And I was like, they want me here. Like I didn't understand it, because imposter syndrome, it's really real.
Yes.
And I had to get to the space where I was like, God, help me see what people see. Like, I want to see what well, I don't know if I want to see everything God see, but like, I need to, like, I know I'm doing this, but like, clearly there's something here and people see it. And that could be a good thing and a bad thing. Like, know who you
Yes.
are, know what you got, because some people will see it and try to, but that's a sermon for a different day.
Hmm.
But it was like really understanding and believing in myself, and knowing that, like, it's tattooed on my wrist. It's been my favorite scripture since, my parents will tell you, since I started speaking. I can do all things through Christ that
Yes.
strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. And I have to remind myself of that. Like, I can do this. Like
Yes.
I can do this, and I don't do it by myself. I have a phenomenal team. Like I'm amazed by the people who have reached out and, want to be a part and really believe in Go Girl Ride as well. So when I'm feeling, that imposter syndrome come in, I just have to remind myself, like, first of all, this isn't about me, and I know what this is going to do and the change that this is going to bring for
Yeah.
so many communities, but really, like, for our people. Like, that's my mission, like, really behind it, outside of the, like, legacy and all that stuff. It's like for
Hmm.
my family, but it's like, really, no, this is going to be changed. So you have to do this. Like, you were called to do this. So I
Yes.
think that's what makes it easier, is I know that I'm actually walking in my calling, and that I'm ordained to do this. So
Yeah.
that gives me confidence. God gives me that confidence, but also, my team, the Gigi team, Ebony, Sharetta, they really, and so many, Nisi, my girl Nisi, like, so many people, and my parents, and just I have a village of my
Hmm.
village. I'll say that my village is what keeps me going. And then just the stories that people share. I mean, it blows my mind. We have national signups, and have, for a few years now, and some international signups. Like, people really want this to happen. And
Yes.
I think that's what keeps me going. I can't stop. I've come too far, especially at this point. Like,
Yes.
we got to see this through to the
Yeah.
end. And,
Yeah.
I have new things that I want to do. So I need this to hurry up and happen, so that I can get to those other things that I want to do. It's not
Yeah.
about me. And I think that's what really keeps me going.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And he also raised something. Well, everything you said was just phenomenal. But you also raised that you have this support system, and that is so important. But for us to have people in our lives that support us, right? That
Absolutely.
that village is so vitally important, and so I'm so grateful that you have that village, so
I'm
that
grateful
you can,
too. And
yeah,
I wish I could say I don't. I think sometimes I do take it for granted, because it's like, it's the security I have, that I've had my whole life, that my parents have provided. And, I wish I could say I don't take that for granted, but no, it's so secure. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it. And I don't, I know that that's a blessing that I wish every single person could have, because it really does. Like, when I'm down, it's like, there's somebody there to just pour in and just, make sure that cup stays full for sure.
Yes, yes. So, what kind of guidance can you offer to other young Black women um, who are
Yeah,
discerning whether they should move forward with their big idea, but may be afraid to?
absolutely. It's I love I love what you're saying. It's impossible until it's done.
Hmm.
I think it's so I think that is so that's it. This was this came from was birthed from just conversations and from me telling my homegirl, like, we need this needs to exist. I wish somebody would start this, or I wish Uber would, offer like a customized service. And her going, why not you?
Yeah.
And realizing that every single thing I've done, like I said, I'm a creative, that has gotten me very far in this too. Because you got a brand and a business, all the
Yes.
creative stuff that goes into it, to my experiences, at driving, my experiences in service and all those things, like realizing that, like, over the years, I actually, I felt like I felt unqualified. And then
Mm.
God was like, no, think about every single thing that you've done. It
Woo.
all contributes to this moment, to where you are right now.
Yes.
Just stand up and walk. That's it. Like, and now I know that people say that all the time, but I really think the secret to success is like just doing it.
Yeah.
And to me, the most challenging part of all this, I think it's like being in the mud of it right now.
Hmm.
But I think the secret is, it's hard, but like once you start doing it and you just set some goals, so
Right.
like, come up with your name, get your domain, you know what I'm saying, set up your email, create your medias, write out your business plan. Also start connecting, like go to the library, like the resources are there to, like, just start doing your research and
Yes.
put it out there. Words are powerful. That, I think that's my biggest takeaway. Like, it's powerful. Be intentional. Don't put all your business out there, but start speaking to yourself. This is what I'm doing. And when people ask you, so what do you do? This is what I do. Like,
Right.
I used to be like, oh, I do this. Like, I would be scared to say it because I
Yeah.
was scared of the opinions of people and what they would say. I think like getting over yourself is like getting out of your head is the first step. Go for it. Do it, especially if it's in your heart and you can't stop thinking about it. Oh, I feel like, you remember Sister Act 2?
Yes.
It was like, if you wake up in the morning and all you think about is doing singing, you're
Yeah.
supposed to be a singer.
Right.
If that's what you're supposed to do, and it's in your heart, like, really, just the first step is to like put it out there and start doing it. And I promise you, just chip away at it and don't look at nobody else's timetable but
Woo.
yours.
That's good. Woo.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, we so appreciate your wisdom and your encouragement, and appreciate the ways that you are inspiring me and our listeners this morning. I appreciate you so much. So you alluded to there's some new things that you want to get into once Go Ride gets to where you want it to be. So can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what's coming up for you?
Absolutely. So, I'm really interested now in renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at launching like a fleet of cars, like, which is, think like taxi, traditional transportation service. And then I started, one of our community partners is Fourth Mobility. They work with, like, nationally. They work, their nonprofit though, and they work to encourage as many people to go electric vehicle, EV, as possible, because
Mm-hmm.
climate change is
Yes.
real, in spite of what people say. And despite, I should say, what people say. And so I just started looking at, like, okay, well, I started looking at like batteries, like electric batteries and all of that stuff. And it really just kind of has opened my world to, like, I can't put everything that we want to do, or that we're going
Right.
to do,
Right.
I'm going to do out there, but really moving into like the renewable energy space, because I am prepared. And that is, I'm prepared for people to say, yeah, y'all talk about climate change, but you got cars on the road and stuff. And so it's really looking at ways that we can provide transportation and accessibility to people, but do it in a way that's not harmful to the environment. So I'm looking forward to, rolling out with some big plans that we have for renewable energy. I mean, the sky it's really the limit. And I'm also looking to, like I said, I'm a creative. And so for me, I'm excited just about like opportunities to get out there just more, and do like some creative things that I've always done. So
yes,
good stuff. Good stuff coming.
Oh, good stuff. We sure look forward to all of the wonderful things that you're going to be doing. Tell the people how to reach you. How can they contact you?
Absolutely. So all of my personal handles, it's at Trenelle Doyle. It's on the screen. That's, Twitter. Well, Twitter's my real thoughts are over there. It's Twitter, Instagram. I've got a TikTok as well that I need to start actually using. But Go Girl Ride, you can go to at Go Girl Ride, just how it sounds. And we have, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. And our website, it's gogirlride.com. That's how you can keep up with everything that we have coming. You can go there. It will, if y'all are interested, signing up would be really great as a rider or a driver. I promise you, we will not bombard you with too much, like, emails and messages and stuff like that. But that is the way that you can keep up.
Thank you so much, Trenelle, for joining us, for hanging out with me on Inspire.
I'm excited. This was really great, Sue. This was really good. The time went so fast.
Yes, it did. It did go rather quickly, but we want to have you back. So, once
anytime, and I mean that sincerely. I started looking up you and one of my friends, Bart Fitzgerald. He's a pastor here, and he was like, "Oh, I love her, pastor." Yeah, he's a phenomenal queer pastor here, and just like the world, he loves you. And so I was like, "Yes, come on."
Well, hey, Bart, we need to get you on too. So
I'm sure he would love to be here. He's incredible.
Yes, I hope that he's watching. But it was so good to have you. We will definitely have you back, and we are looking forward to great things. And I pray that the divine's choices, blessings over your life. May God continue to bless the work of your hands and your feet and your mind. We're just waiting with great anticipation for all of the wonderful things that the divine will do through you. And
thank you. I receive it. I receive it. And the same for you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon, Trenelle.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We have come to the end of yet another Inspire by Kara. We want to invite you again to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Listen, we're doing some good things over here at Inspire. We want you to stay connected. We want you to know all about what Kara Solutions is doing as a whole. So again, if you have not liked or connected with us, if you haven't followed us yet, or you haven't liked us or subscribed, we do invite you to do so. So again, we're at Kara Solutions LLC on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube, at Kara Solutions on Twitter. And of course, you could always head over to our website at www.kara-solutions.com to find out all about us. Please don't forget that hyphen in the middle, because it will take you to a completely different website. So please remember that hyphen in the middle. Again, we want you to join us next Saturday. Next week Saturday, we have with us Ty Allen Jackson, who is the founder of Big Head Books, and we're excited that he's going to be joining us next week. So again, we've come to the end. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for sharing. We thank you for supporting Inspire by Kara. Thank you for supporting us. It means the world to us. It means the world to us. And as we leave each other, I'm not going to go, may God be with you until we meet again. Of course, but we want you to stay uplifted. We want you to stay motivated. And most of all, we want you to stay inspired. God bless you. I'll see you next week.